Hey guys, this is Anastasia on Fire, and this video is for how I connect to the spirit animal of the butterfly. I am going to go through some more traditional concepts that I got from a website. I, of course, did not write down the website, but I do have it saved to my favorites, so I will put the link in the description below so people can click on it, go to the website themselves. There is a lot more insight on that page. They connect the butterfly to Celtic meaning, I believe Asian, and a lot more information on the Native American connections. So please check that out if this interests you. Otherwise, any of these traditional correspondences, any correspondences that I lay out, please know there are many more. You can go online and Google it, and a plethora of websites will pull up. I'm sure there's tons of books you can look at, and I know for a fact there's a lot of videos on YouTube, so check those out. I have notes here for the traditional form, so you're going to see my eyes kind of look down because I just want to list these off so I don't get into, and not really get into too much information on those, just because I want to delve into the more personal aspects of this spirit animal, and especially go into how it connects me to my matron goddess Hel. So without further ado, I'm going to go through some symbolism of the butterfly spiritually, and then go through the spirit animal connections, the totem animal connections, and then the power animal connections. So symbolically, the butterfly stands for transformation, cycles, growth, grace. It can be representation for the soul itself. It can represent perspectives, joy, happy relationship, renewal, movement, clairvoyance, manifestation, and it can be a symbol for the air element itself. Again, there are many other things that it could symbolize, many other things it could connect to. That's just a small list. Spirit animal connections. When a butterfly kind of flitters into your life, it could be representing perhaps hidden potential. Are you holding yourself back? Are you kind of focused on the negative? Because when we're focused on the negative and we're focused on things that are just kind of irking us, we're not seeing the good aspects. We're not seeing the potential that's there. So when the butterfly comes into our life as a spirit animal, maybe it's calling us to see past the mundane and look to that potential that we're missing. It may be calling to us regarding happiness. It may be a message about vision. Maybe it's calling you to connect to divination. Perhaps it is giving you some insight with flashes that maybe you're seeing out of the corner of your eye. Maybe it's letting you know, hey, yeah, that could be fae, that could be angels, that could be numerous of little things that you're not seeing. I would even take that a step further, and I would say it's calling you to open up your mind, because a lot of times when we see things, even when we're using divination tools, sometimes I myself logic it away. I will say, oh, this is just the message I want to hear, or, oh, those are just flashes, it's nothing else. Lately I've been getting a lot of kind of off-putting feelings and not sleeping very well at night, and it's easy for me to dismiss them as, a bit of indigestion, or, oh, maybe I'm sleeping wonky. But if the butterfly were to come into my life at that point, it would be perhaps a message of, I need to shut down that logic side and open my mind up to other possibilities, because my vision, when logic gets involved, gets very tunnel, and sometimes you need to open up your vision to accept other possibilities that may be coming into your view spiritually. And then focus on your path. Don't lose your way. Stay true. Possible totem animal connection. So if you're born with the butterfly as a totem, um, people that are born with the butterfly as their totem, there it is, are known to have a lightness to them. They connect to nature and its beauty, and they're kind of guided by that greater good when it comes to balancing the environment. Sometimes they're better equipped to see other perspectives and different angles of situations. Their vision can be more globalized. They can see the forest through the trees a little easier than everyone else. And their perspective's a bit more hopeful as well. Whereas I might see the global picture and be like horrified over all the atrocities that are happening. Someone that has a butterfly totem may look at that and say, okay, it's bad, but at least there's this, this, and this. They can find that silver lining to connect to and build from there, I find. And they are naturally thought of to be colorful, social, and vibrant. They like to live each moment to its fullest. They celebrate the journey of life in and of itself. And I think that kind of says it. Power animal connection. So if you're looking to the butterfly to maybe take in some of its energy and maybe bolster your own through letting it guide you, and kind of building you from within. Good times to call upon the butterfly for this is when you feel intense change coming. I think we've all felt that, where we don't necessarily know what's happening, but we can feel energy building and we know something's going to happen. We just don't know what, we don't know when, and then all of a sudden, bam, it hits us. Well, call on the butterfly when we start to feel that change happen, when we start to feel that energy building, and we're like, okay, something's going to hit. I don't know when, I don't know why, I don't know what, but it's going to hit. If we call to the butterfly during that time, the butterfly is said to ease the transition and to help bring about a graceful transformation. If we hit a creative wall, or if we lose joy due to stress, anxiety, or depression, butterflies are all about all about color, light, and expression. So when we hit those walls, again, kind of what it was saying with the spirit animal of hidden potential, when we hit those walls, we don't see the beauty that is around us. We don't see that spark of creation. So it's easy to get bogged down, but with the energy of the butterfly at that time, we can kind of break through those barriers and break down those walls and see things a bit clearer. We may call to the butterfly when we need connection to ancient wisdom. It's said that monarchs, when they migrate, will find the same place that their ancestors had migrated to, that exact same location. So they're following this kind of cellular memory of sorts. At least that's what the website said. So they are connecting to some ancient wisdom, and I think that's a very important thing to connect to in our lives. And then when you want to change your life, so before, when I was talking about that intense change coming and hitting you, there's also times when you need to change, and you know you want the change. There's stagnation, perhaps there's a toxic element to your life, and you need that transformation. Butterflies are all about transformation. They're all about metamorphosis. So what better animal to kind of work with and channel during those times of needed transformation when you want to initiate that change? What better animal to connect to than the butterfly? So again, those are just some traditional thoughts that I found online. To speak about personal connection, and I had some other personal connections written down so I wouldn't forget them, but in the essence of time, especially since my computer's still being wonky, I don't want to shortchange the connection to hell. So I do want to speak to that. It's easy to bridge a connection between butterflies and hell, I think, because butterflies are all about transformation, and so is hell. Hela is a dualistic goddess. She is both maiden and crone. I believe, at least what I have found through being dedicated to Hel, is you do pick up a motherly feeling. It may be more that withdrawn, or not withdrawn, stern mother feeling, but it is there, and I don't think it's that much of a stretch to feel that connection when you consider she is the caretaker of the dead. She is a protector. Some have cited her as being a protector of children, and babies, especially, since if a child dies, it is said that she will take it and care for it. And she also is the protector and caretaker of any woman who dies during childbirth. So I think there is a kinship there at the very least. She's able to pick up on those aspects. And I know as a mother, I definitely come to her quite a bit, especially for that whole patience thing, because that's one of her major lessons is patience, and I struggle with that one. But yes, she is known primarily as, I think, a crone goddess. That is what we all tend to connect to her. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that is her kind of major energy. And I think there we see the butterfly perhaps in its darker form. Perhaps at that point we see not so much a butterfly, but, you know, the moth, or, I'm losing the name, deadhead moth? No, I lost the name of it. I had it written down too, and of course I grabbed the wrong paper. It's in Crimson Peak all over the place. But, anywho, I'm going to waste time forever trying to think of the name of a specific kind of moth. Deadhead moth or death moth. I'm blanking. I hope you know what I'm trying to get to. So yeah, in her crone phase, I think it's easy to connect more of that kind of energy to her. But with the butterfly, I think you're getting her other aspect, which is her maiden form. She does have a maiden form, and I don't think many people remember that all the time. When I first started working with Hel, I remember reading pages and pages and pages of websites, of books, and all of them kind of said the same thing. If you work with Hel, be very careful. She's not an energy you want to really connect to unless you know what you're doing. And it didn't put me off, because for a very long time I was, and still am, enamored with goddesses like Freya and the Morrigan and Sekhmet, and these very strong goddesses, Medusa as well, like, just that are not easy. They are very complex. Honestly, the further I go down on my path, the more I realize all goddesses are complex. The minute you look at a goddess and go, oh, she's so warm and fuzzy. Yeah, that's another video for another time. I need to focus. But the funny thing is when Hel first came to me, well, when she first came to me, yes, it was very much that kind of intense crone energy in your face. But that next day I did all sorts of research on her, and I felt a kinship, I felt a connection, and I didn't question it. Cernunnos, when he came to me, I questioned it like nothing else. I remember going outside in the night wind over and over and over and just being like, okay, I'm calling out. I don't know if this is you. If you could give me another sign, that would be really great. I didn't ask for a sign from Hel. I kind of was just like, okay, let's roll. But that second night, after I did all that research, she came to me in another dream, and it was much more symbolism. It wasn't as deliberate as the first dream. But it was showing me, I believe, her maiden form. It was about acceptance. It was about embracing the changes. It was about looking at the beauty that is around us and understanding renewal and understanding rebirth and understanding that whether we like it or not, at least in this life, in this incarnation, I'm only going to get one time round. What point is there in constantly worrying about this and worrying about that and getting tripped up by this and getting tripped up by that? Because all it's going to do, all that worrying and anxiety and being neurotic is going to do is make me miss things along my path. It's going to make me miss key elements in my journey. And if you look at the butterfly, it really calls us to that, acknowledging the beauty that is around us, embracing and celebrating life's journey. It's not about getting hung up on every little detail. It's about embracing it as a whole. Maybe focusing on simple things. I know when it comes to using butterfly energy for healing, it is about simplifying. It is about cutting things out, letting things go so that you can focus on the good and focus on the positive and build and build and build until all you have is this strong glow of energy all about you. Because that's what you've built up. Am I saying there won't be negativity? Absolutely not. Of course there's going to be negativity. That's what her other side is about, dealing with the shadow. But I think for one, I get so caught up in how do I combat the shadow? How do I embrace the shadow? How do I work with this shadow? I get caught in how do I look into that burning eye and understand everything that it is showing me? How do I keep the balance within myself, within my home, within my community, within my world? I get so caught up in those big, big, big ideas that I'm forgetting to focus on what I can control. I'm forgetting to focus, even not necessarily what I can control, but what is around me and is good. I know part of the totem of the butterfly is to be able to see with greater perspective and see the forest through the trees, and that's kind of been Hell's crone side for me, is learning to not focus on the small details, but instead look at the world at large, because when I do that, my problems don't seem so huge because they really don't factor into the big world around me. And that's a good lesson for me, because I think I get a little too egotistical, thinking that my little life means a whole lot more than it means. But on the balance side of that, because Hell is all about balance, I'm sorry. It's very few times that I actually get to talk about this and find a little bit of humor in it. I'm sorry, I'm just really jiving with this, and I'm running out of time, so I gotta focus. When we're working with that balance, the little things are what matters to us and should matter to us. And that's what we need to connect to. The butterfly is all about transformation. It's all about metamorphosis. It's all about taking those phases, even though we may not know they're coming. One of the quotes on this webpage was, a caterpillar doesn't know it's going to turn into a butterfly. And I really dug that, and I really like that. And that's so true in our everyday lives. We can look at our lives and plan out, and I do, sweetie. My daily life is planned out to the T. And when I do that, it helps get me through my mundane, that's great. But spiritually, it doesn't work that way. I have tried plotting and planning out my spiritual day, and I get smacked in the face every time I try. And that's kind of the point. We need to embrace transformation even though we don't know what that transformation is going to bring or when it is going to come. The point isn't to know. The point is to open up, to have that little bit of faith, to take that chance. I remember reading somewhere about how that when she comes to the dead to bring them to the other side, she will extend the hand, her maiden hand, that is alive and fleshy and comforting. But when she comes to a dedicant, or to someone who is already alive, who's looking to learn from her, she will extend her skeletal hand. And yes, that will bring trepidation and hesitation and a little bit of, oh gosh. But she's looking for you to take that step. She's looking for you to say, you know, I don't know what the Hades this is about, but I'm with you. Let's do this. She is about comfort. She is about beauty. And I think that's the other part of her connection to the butterfly, is even in her crone stage, where she's very it is very much about death. Death is a thing. Even then, it doesn't have to be a terrifying process. It can be beautiful. Is it going to be scary? I'm sorry, Hades, yes, it's going to be terrifying. But there's still beauty to be had. Think of all the memories that you have. Think of your family as they gather around you. Think of all the good that you have seen in your life. Think of all the good you've done in your life. Think about the legacy that you're leaving behind, because I used to always worry that I wouldn't leave anything behind. But the older I get, the more I realize everyone leaves something. No one leaves this realm without leaving a little something behind. And that's extremely comforting. And I think that's where we find Hell's Maiden aspect. It works very much hand in hand with the crone, because you can't have death without rebirth. You can't have a caterpillar without it turning into a butterfly. I mean, you can, but I'm talking symbolically here. There is no end. It is simply just another phase. And all phases should be celebrated, and all phases should be embraced. And when I see a butterfly flitter across my view, and it happens over and over and over again, I do say hail hell, because it is a reminder that I need to slow down, and I need to smell the flowers, and I need to see how pretty the colors are, and I need to enjoy every breath I have, because at least this experience will end. But there is another experience that comes after. I just need to grab hold of the hand and let it lead me, and have a little bit of faith in that. And I think that's what the butterfly reminds me of, is that although, yes, there are changes that will come, and there's transformations that will happen that will terrify me, and I will not be ready for, in the end, it's just a process, and it's going to pass. And 9 times out of 10, the result after that transformation and transition is going to be beautiful. And to me, that is one of Hell's greatest lessons, is that, yes, things are going to be scary. Yeah, things are going to suck, and they're going to hurt. There's going to be destruction. There's going to be death. There's going to be dark. But there is also light. There's also rebirth. There's also growth. There's also fertility. There's also life. There's always that balance. Just as her traditional colors are black and white, I also think hell embraces all of the colors that are available, because you can't learn about death or teach about death if you are hell in teaching without also teaching about life, because you can't have one without the other. That is what the butterfly represents to me, the life that brings death into balance. Blessed be.